Alright guys, I'm back with another analysis style video. I'm hoping to walk through another somewhat close in-house to analyze why the team that won, what their win conditions were coming out of the pick ban, and how they played them or not played them. So because this is a replay file and not me doing something over a stream replay, I don't have access to the live pick ban phase. So in future I'm going to work on that, but for now I'm just going to try and walk you guys through like just talking about it, and hopefully you guys can follow along. But it is tougher when you don't like visually see the pick ban going on. So the bans were Darius, Skarner, and Mordekaiser from blue side, and Nidalee, Fiora, and Ribbon. We noticed the Gangplank was open, so Bags had us first pick that. He was vocal in pick ban about him not being super confident top lane, so we wanted him on a strong champion. And then they respond by first picking the Tristana and the Aurelia. So this is already something we're worried about, because Bags, he isn't a super confident top laner, particularly on Gangplank, whereas Apricot, whatever, he's like a hardcore Aurelia main. So this is already a lane we're worried about, just player-wise. But also, this is a pretty good matchup for Aurelia, because before Gangplank gets his big item and level spikes, Aurelia can really abuse him, particularly at level 6, and I think at level 4. If me can get those to him, she can just all-in, which is something we're already worried about. And then they pick up the Tristana, this really good late game pick. So this is actually really unfortunate for us, because Wumple here was saying that he really thought Tristana was the best AD carry, and that he was going to pick her if he could. So next rotation we pick up Lucian and Echo. He goes for the comfort of Lucian, and also because he knows that with an aggressive pick like this, he can try and dominate and snowball a Tristana lane. And I pick up Echo because I do think he's the best jungler. I just think he's so multi-purpose that you can pick him early in the draft and he'll fit in anywhere. But also because I don't really have a champion pool, I have a champion puddle, or Raindrop, and Echo is pretty much the only one in it, so I pick him. And then they respond by picking up Shyvana and Orianna. So we can see a bit of what their comp's going to turn out to be. We have this this late game kind of jungler. I call Shyvana late game because when she gets her Sated and her Bork and some tank items, she really becomes something to deal with. But in the early game, you can kind of shut her down. She's pretty squishy. So I think of her as more of a late game style champion. You'll notice that she winds up taking it Ignite. I think that if you're going for an aggressive summoner, you really want exhaust just so you can slow down on, like, you can catch up to someone. I also think the lack of exhaust on the team against Lucian is kind of a problem, but it also signals that he really wants to get some work done early and really get a lane snowballing, which is not a bad thought process. I don't know how I feel about the Ignite. Anyway, the Orianna is a really good pick too. You can have some ball delivery with Aurelia, I think, or maybe Shyvana. But these champs aren't known as engaged champions. Sure, they can do it, but they aren't known for it in the same way other champions are. And then we round out the pick ban process by picking up this Braum to pair with Lucian. The synergy on the passives is really good. The double proc on the auto attack gets you to the 4 stacks, so you can go concussive blows very quickly, which makes this a really strong pair. And then the real curveball in our comp is this Morgana mid. This is a mid Morgana, not a support Morgana. So mid lane is going to be probably a clear fest. I don't think either of these guys has real kill pressure on each other. They're probably just going to clear, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then try and make their usefulness known during team fights. And then they finish it up by picking this Blitzcrank support. So after seeing both these teams, I'd want to almost give it to red side, because blue side is kind of a weird comp. They don't really have any engage. They're really, it's just the Morgana Q, maybe Braum if you get a good Winter's Bite or an ult maybe, but he's really, I think his strengths fall in line more with disengage. I think somewhat similar to Echo, maybe I could get a good W off instead of a bunch of people, but generally speaking, that's not really an engaged tool. Maybe Gangplank if he gets his speed boost, but that also isn't something many Gangplanks do. Usually you rush the Death's Daughter for all the damage, and then you pick up the speed boost one as second, maybe third. So at best, this is coming in kind of late. which is rough for us. Why is that rough? Because the range disparity on the AD carries is something that's a real problem. So if the goal of the solution is to dominate Tristana in lane, and then snowball the game and win before Tristana can get huge range and huge items and punish him, then we don't really have a comp to help him do that, because we don't have a way to really engage or make a fight happen. I think our comp is actually better if we're engaged upon, because then we can try and layer our CC well. If we layer our Echo Stun and our Morgana ults and all the Braum stuff on top of Lucian's AoE and double procs and ult and Gangplank's ult and like big chain barrel crits, then I think that's really where a lot of our comp shines. But if we're looking to snowball, I don't really think we have the engage to make it happen, which makes, I think, tough for blue team to really come out on top. Against this comp that scales really well, like Tristana's going to outscale Lucian. Not just necessarily in damage, but because of the range differential, makes it harder and harder to be Lucian in the late game. Because when you're in range to auto attack, you're in range to be dashed upon, you're in range to be autoed before that point by Tristana, and also Orianna can zone you with their ball really effectively. So if they get like a good Shyvana engage and Orianna ults with Shyvana on top of that, she can then command attacker ball between Lucian and the team fight, which can prevent him from getting in on it. And I do think that red side can teamfight better than blue can, most likely. Unless, of course, they stack on top of all the CC. Whereas I think that's not all that red team can do. I think red team actually has a very good 1-3-1, with Aurelia splitting one lane, presumably getting ahead of Gangplank because that's how the matchup usually goes, and Shyvana developing into a split push threat later in the game. Echo's not going to be able to match up with that. Maybe we send Lucian to deal with Shyvana and Gangplank after a while, can maybe deal with Aurelia, but I think then the remaining three members don't bode well for us because of Tristana's turret killing power, and if Braum tries to shield the tower to prevent Tristana from bossing it down, he opens himself up to a Blitzcrank hook, and then maybe they can get the damage off to kill Braum, because the follow-up from Morgana and I is probably going to be pretty slow coming out. One, because my slow is so long, but two, because if we're trying to clear the wave before it hits tower, a lot of that is going to be on this mid Morgana and a Tormented Soil, meaning that that ability won't be up for the ensuing team fight. And because she's so dependent on these long cooldown abilities, I think it just leads to red team having a more effective 1-3-1. Given that that's the case, and given that I think blue team can only team fight well reactively unless they get great vision control or can flank well, I give it to red side just looking at pick ban. Unless these guys pick bad fights onto blue team when they can follow up and layer their CC, I think that and snowballing off the Lucian are the only ways blue team's going to win. However, I'm not going to spoil who wins because I think that distracts us from dissecting the plays adequately. So with that, I'm going to unpause it and we can see how this game starts out. So I think item-wise, the only thing to note, and you'll see this in a second or two, is Gangplank obviously starts Flask. She initially hovers Flask and then decides to go Doran's Blade. Right? That's, I think, a mistake from the Aurelia. Because Flask, with this pick, she's looking for more combat stats, right? She wants to dominate this Gangplank in lane. I think she loses out on the mana sustain that Gangplank has. But also you're going to see that she's going to buy another Doran's Blade for sustain because she doesn't feel like she can go to the lane, and then eventually, after the second Doran's Blade, getting a Flask anyway, obviously feeling like she needs that sustain. Yeah, with this, she's basically banking on using this combat stats to get an early kill onto Gangplank or anything else. Wumble gets hooked over the wall with Blitzcrank. He had skilled Q, which is the bad habit I think a lot of people have. I think you should probably just sit on nothing skilled in the early games. If that happens to you, you can skill E back over the wall, don't burn your flash. But now, he's going into a Blitzcrank lane without his flash, which just opens up so many aggressive options for red side. It's going to be real tough, especially because he has short range already. You need your E and you need your flash to be able to get out of any sticky situation Blitzcrank might try and put you in. So without that, it's actually really big. It's going to make it even less likely that Lucian can safely snowball this lane if they just up a summoner for free. So, normal jungle starts, normal lane matchups, but everyone's eyes are on the side lanes, right? Because if Aurelia snowballs in Gangplank, I just have to be top. Otherwise, the lane is just going to get pushed in. And if these guys bot start winning, Shyvana needs to be bot, you know? A lot's dependent on which way these side lanes are going, so I think that's probably why Shyvana went for this early aggressive summoner to try and get one of these lanes ahead. Right off the bat, though, we see Lucian get hooked. And sure, he doesn't die or anything, but Tristana's going to get a lot of damage without flash and being half health. This is looking really bad for us right now. Really bad. And this is before either junglers have even cleared their first buff, right? So this is a very early thing to happen, because if anything bad here happens, like a hook again, this Blitzcrank's hooks are really good. Both people, he's overstanding a bit, they're going to be able to get a proc off, but look at just how low Braum is. He heals, the Ignite goes down, he barely lives off this. So, no Ignite, no heal or flash, no exhaust or flash. Red side's got all the summoners left up, or just all the flashes up, these guys have none of them. This looks really bad for us. Me and Shyvana contest a bit over Crab, I smite it. Which means I can't do blue anymore, I have to just do this and back. Yeah, nothing happens here, we just kind of poke around. So yeah, I was initially, after taking that, going to go do blue, but I can't do that anymore. So I have to just take this and back, and then I can clear blue and gank. I couldn't just go get blue and like, gank somewhere. So, wait, what? Okay, I forgot all about this. How did this happen? Okay, so Blitzcrank, is he going to hook someone bad? Okay, so he just walks up, and they just kill him. Okay, I don't know what Blitzcrank was doing. He just walked up and died. And now she had to skill rocket jump and get out. Like, Tristana, I think, wants to have Q and E in this lane because of all the damage it opens up. Because she doesn't... knowing Lucian doesn't have flash, knowing she's with the Blitz, there's no reason for her to skill rocket jump other than that just happened, so she had to skill. So she's actually, like, down in some... her combat abilities right now. She's getting solo XP here with this massive wave here. They're probably going to hit 3 and then come back to lane, whereas Blitzcrank's only going to be level 2, which is pretty annoying. But this is here where Shyvana is going to try and use, so yeah, the ping goes down, she's going to try and gank here. She has the aggressive summoner, Gangplank's way pushed up. This should be a dead Gangplank, and honestly, Aurelia should have been getting a couple of autos down before that happened, because... like, yeah, now he hits the barrel for the move speed, he flashes out, he's got pots running, he's going to survive this. He's actually not going to back. He's got so many pots, he's just going to use them and stay in lane. Which is actually something he can do, because Shyvana can't come back and gank after that, and she's burnt her Ignite without it. So I think she should have had Exhaust, because after he cleansed off Aurelia's stun, then you would have been able to follow up with the Exhaust and get the kill. However, a fight happens down here, Tristana burns her flash to pick up the kill, although Braum is able to pick up Tristana afterwards. Now here's where Braum misplays a bit. He gets the 4 procs off on the Blitzcrank. You'll see here in a second. 2, bam. And then he Winter's Bites here. He knows he can't wait out the... I'll pause it. He knows he doesn't have the time to wait out his shield, but at least until you wait until after the stun, you can apply the slow and then have that slow actually have value. Whereas... since you did it then, you couldn't get it. At the meantime, though, I'm ganking top. Like, right after I get my blue, I come top, because both junglers know that this lane is going to be huge. That's why Shyvana went top so early, and that's why I went top so early. Shyvana couldn't pick it up, but Echo's early ganks are way better than Shyvana's. So I get the 1 proc off that, and then I flash for the auto, knowing that the move speed steal from the passive proc, even if she flashed, I'd just be able to catch up to her and kill her anyway. So, if you ever play Echo, and you're in an early gank like this, it's fine to just flash for that last auto, because even if she flashes, you can catch up. Because Aurelia has one of the highest base move speeds in the game, and you just, doesn't matter, you just walk up. However, me showing top, she just solos this dragon. Normally you wouldn't be able to do this as Shyvana, like normally you'd be dead, but Tristana, she comes right down and helps her do this. I actually want to see how this happens, because I'm just sitting here. I don't know why I'm not clearing this, but I'm waiting to see if there's a good bind. Like, that would have been the bind I went in on, but it doesn't land, so I'm just wasting my time there. Yeah, Shyvana comes and helps, or Tristana comes and helps Shyvana do this. With the explosive shot and the smite, they're able to pick it up. But when I see that go down, I instantly go in, because I know Shyvana is too low to respond. Alright, so the reason I went in there, even though she didn't land a binding, was because I saw Dragon go down. I know that Shyvana would have to be super low after that and that she couldn't respond. When I was sitting here, I was worried about Shyvana showing up, but seeing it go down, I know she can't respond to this gank. So I threw it on the convergence, knowing that she has to walk this way, meaning Morgana can land the Q and we can go in. Unfortunately though, Morgana really commits to this. She flash Qs instead of just Qing, I think to get over these minions and land it. So I actually wasn't paying attention to where the wave was, because I made her burn flash, and then I chickened out without getting one auto, and that was the auto that would have killed her. Or one extra auto, right? So I screw up, baiting Morgana into burning her flash for no reason. She's smart, held on to her exhaust. I think she's waiting to use that for when a gank happens, which I think is smart. With her black shield and with exhaust, there's no way that I think Shyvana can actually gank this lane. She's just playing super safe. Orianna burned heals. If I'd stayed for one more auto, we would have seen the payoff, but now I just burned Morgana's flash for nothing. Yeah. I undercommitted. Here, yeah, Gangplank hit 6 before Aurelia. Aurelia is not even halfway through level 6. This is a result of the kill on Aurelia. This is, I think, an underrated part of getting kills. Even though Gangplank didn't get the kill, Aurelia lost a lot of waves to tower, and with these minions here, she's just so behind in experience. Although when she hits 6, she's probably just going to go all in, because she can kill him. Yeah, well, how far is she? How far is she from 6? Okay, so after that minion, okay, you see she's 6. Probably on this minion here. Okay, so once this barrel goes down, she's going to go in. So she misclicks the dash onto Gangplank, and then E's the minion instead of dashing to the minion and E'ing Gangplank. However, she's able to pick up the kill because they're fighting in the minion wave. That could have been done cleaner by Aurelia, but there's just nothing Gangplank could do. Even though she messed up her abilities, he's still just dead. And that's the problem with the Aurelia Gangplank matchup. It's just so hard for him to deal with that. Because I think the combat stats from having these 2 Doran's Blades is why she's able to pick that up. So I guess that's why she went these. But honestly, she winds up picking up this Flask anyway, just because I don't think she thinks she has the sustain for this lane. So she should have just started that, and then if these had been more components to Phage, I just think she'd be better off. But then again, she does pick up the kill because of it, so maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm gonna turn off chat because it's annoying. Okay, I don't know. Maybe this is correct, but whatever. So we see Shyvana come around here. Critically, Morgana Black Shields now. I don't know why she does. But she takes a tower shot, and actually Shyvana's burnout burns through her Black Shield. She sees that, and she sees that exhaust isn't worth putting down. She didn't even have to ult. Orianna did. Morgana burned her ult, I think a little bit late. She probably should have thrown that on immediately. I try and fight Shyvana for this pink here. I know that I can kill her 1v1, but then Orianna shows up. I have to give this pink, which is very sad because I just bought that pink and I like new things. But then I make a big mistake here, actually. I show, like, Brahma's already coming up here to clear this ward, and I just show bot side for no reason. Even though they saw me here, and they don't see me move up, this just gives Aurelia even more information up here as to how safe she is from me. And that's just something you don't want to give the enemy top lane, especially in such a snowballing matchup like this Aurelia lane. And then I just sit here for a really bad gank. I don't know why. I don't know why I do that. Because, like, this lane's not in a good position for me to, like, what am I? Yeah, okay, so I leave. Like, that's not, lane ganking that is really dumb. I really should be focusing elsewhere. Because he's ahead in CS. Actually, Orianna's ahead, or Morgana's ahead too. They're actually surprisingly even in CS. Shyvana is really out CSing me, which makes sense because she's Shyvana and she plays very quickly and I don't because I'm Echo. But yeah, this is like 20 CS lead from this Lucian, which honestly is to be expected because Lucian's a very strong blue lane, and Shyvana, she scales very well, but early on isn't as dominant. Although this is surprising, especially after Lucian came into lane with no flash whatsoever. I'm looking around the map. Just hovering topside, but it's a bit too pushed in for that gank to actually work. Yeah, they're just doing stuff on the map. If this gank here works, this is really good for... Oh, there's a fight down here. Okay, let's see how that happened. Okay, so they're just fighting, got the bot lane things, hitting minions. It's probably going to be a Blitzcrank hook onto Lucian. Yeah, there's the hook. Okay, so instantly he dashes and then shields Tristana, which is really good. It's what you have to do as Braum in the situation, and that saves Lucian's life. He gets some culling damage afterwards, but they manage to escape without dying. Shyvana backs off, not ganking, because Gangplank throws down his ult, meaning Shyvana can't really walk through that unless she burns ult. There's the Winter's Bite dissuading Blitzcrank. He misses the hook, and it's actually big. For the next 10 seconds, these guys have a bit of a leg up, but because he's so low, all that really does is mean they're safe. I take the blue. I really should have given it to Morgana. I don't know why I didn't, because her having blue just allows her to just keep this lane. Like, why it's so important Morgana gets blue is because she has blue. We want Morgana to be able to push in this lane at all times and keep Orianna here. Because if we pin Orianna to this mid lane here, but just with one ability clearing the minion wave, that's huge, because we already have this extra half person with the Gangplank ult, meaning that we have a roam advantage on the map. And also, if she has blue and she can push in this minion wave instantly, if Morgana ever wants to roam, she has like a solid 15 seconds of time where she can roam and Orianna can't, while she's stuck here clearing the minions. So that just gives us roam advantage, and this is something you get for free when a champion like Morgana has blue. That's something I should have totally given that to her. I don't know why I didn't. That was really, really bad of me. But anyway, yeah, I should have given her blue. If you're a jungler, do that. Yeah, also, because, like, look at this massive cooldown on Tormented Soil. Yeah. Okay, so it hooks Braum. I'll show that in the making. This is such a weird lag whenever I back up. So Blitzcrank is running around. He's actually here-ish. He's not here. He flash knockups. Okay, and then Braum shields Tristana. Braum ults. He gets the kill. That was really weird from Blitzcrank. I don't know why he did that. Even if she rocket jumps out, I think she's just dead. Okay, double kill onto Lucian. That's really big, because now Lucian has started. He's not just ahead in lane and bullying Tristana. He's now starting to snowball. So he can get a lot closer to his Infinity Edge. I'm coming up here for a gank. I throw this down in a bad place. There's no way she's getting stunned by this. I think I noticed that. That's why I pick up the shield instantly. I get the triple proc off, but Gangplank can't follow through all these minions, seeing what health he's at. She just Q to him and he'd die. I mess up the angle and don't get the third proc off on Aurelia. If I did, I don't think I'd be able to kill her, but I'd definitely be a lot closer. If you ever could get more damage, then you should, even if that doesn't ultimately end up in a kill. It's just a good habit to be in, because eventually there will become a time when that will end up in a kill. She's just chasing. She's not going to get him because of that. But then Blitzcrank shows up here, which is really confusing to me, and actually is really good, because he just runs up here and hooks him, and he's dead. It's a shame Blitzcrank got the kill, because this would mean even more snowballing for Aurelia, but as such she only gets an assist, which I think is unavoidable. But I just think you hold on to the Blitzcrank ult, knowing that Aurelia is here at half health, and that my stun is too slow to actually prevent that from happening. But what that does, me staying top to clear these minions is great for me personally. Like, I'm able to finish up items, but also means Shyvana can just walk down here and solo this. And now that she has her Devourer, she can do this alone. She doesn't need Tristana to help. But Blitzcrank being top lane means that Tristana has to burn Flash here, because Lucian can just duel her whenever he wants. He's a whole Avarice Blade Longsword up on Tristana. He's probably going to go Ghost Blade just to try and snowball. I'm surprised she needed help. She probably should have used ult, because Shyvana ult doesn't actually have a cooldown. It's just however long it takes for you to get back to 100 Fury. Just burn that on Dragon. You don't even need Blitzcrank to help, and he could have gone mid earlier to try and get a gank here. As such, she's coming in now. She's already level 9. Her Black Shield's going to be pretty big. This probably shouldn't work out. When will she Black Shields? Okay, so the silence prevents her from Black Shielding. She gets hooked. She Black Shields now. No follow-up. Then the ult blocked with her shield. This is actually a surprising amount of damage on this Morgana. Even though her cooldowns are long, when she gets you on her abilities, with the CC chain she can put down on you, and actually a lot of damage on her when she's building AP. Like, her Q has a 90 AP scaling, or 90% or whatever. But with the amount of time Blitzcrank has spent elsewhere, these guys are just dumpstering Tristana. Now it's a 40 CS difference, which is just absurd. Blitzcrank, he's been roaming. He got a kill off from Blitzcrank. Nothing really happened with Morgana. Nothing happens here with Morgana, because she flashes and then gets the stun off onto Orianna. The Gangplank ults could have been placed a little better. I flash, but I burn her flash and heal and zone off Aurelia. I'm out of position and I actually fuck up. I throw my stun here and then ults, which is really dumb. I should have just ulted and saved it. But Aurelia tries to get the kill. She's stunned. I get the 3 procs, kill her. I'm going for more onto Blitzcrank, but he's got enough health. He's gonna get to tower before I can kill him. I come down to zone off her stun. She's already zoned by the Morgana Q, and we get a kill onto Lucian. Lucian's now 5-1. Which is real big, and we're able to pick up this tower as a result. That's really good for us. Lucian snowballing, which is exactly what blue team wants. But I think our inability to make fights happen, like sure these skirmishes are all well and good for us, but later and later into the game, our inability to make fights happen on our terms is probably going to be something that's going to bite us, and it's going to be hard for the Lucian, even though he's snowballing, to make an impact. Because even though he's 5-1, we're getting to the point in the game where Tristana starts to really abuse her range advantage. Even if she's behind, once she gets her Infinity Edge and Zerker Screes, with her Q attack speed, that's enough to honestly chunk Lucian out. So, like, we're going to have to snowball hard, but it's just tough for us to do that. But that's our only win condition, so we just have to play to that and hope it works. Blitzcrank Roam allows the kill on Gangplank. Gangplank hasn't done a pretty good job warding up his sides, which lets that happen. Yeah, he's able to catch back up because of Aurelia's unsuccessful roam to the mid lane and second death. It allows him to equalize CS, and he's starting to get to that point in the game where he can be a real issue, but he still can't 1v1 stack up against Aurelia, which means that even if he can get wards here, Aurelia can still be in this lane and push him in. So we need to get Gangplank to that point in the game. I've managed to catch up to Shyvana on CS, but that's because I've been taking minion waves top after Gangplank dies, but she's been picking up dragons, which doesn't really reflect itself in CS, but actually is having a way bigger impact on the game. We're at the point where dragon is no longer a win condition for blue team, because even if we were to get the next 5, that's going to take like a solid 30 minutes from now, meaning we're going to be taking that at 45 minutes in the game, meaning if the game's gone that long, they've had time to scale, and at that point I don't really think we can win. Even if we have 5 dragons, the range advantage is going to be huge. If they split push on us, we can't really respond, and they can still team fight, I think, better than we can at that point in the game. So 5 dragons, because of these 2 advantage, the 2 dragon advantage is no longer a win condition for us, but it is for them. We're still interested in picking up the next couple dragons to prevent them from getting it, but really it's not something we're playing to anymore. That's why we're getting vision control here, is because we want to contest this next dragon. Aurelia is starting to split push here. Shyvana, I don't know why she's up here. She really should be mid or this side of the map, because that's where the fights are going to be and that's where all the stuff is. However, her scuttle control is really good throughout this whole game, and it's actually something that's a real problem for us. Yeah, so she's just farming, up in farm, way up in farm, 50 CS difference and 5-1. Tristana's a little behind. She's posturing for blue, but I pulled into the bushes so she knows she can't take it. Do I take this blue again? Oh my god, it's so bad. I should give it to Morgana. Like, Morgana is so reliant on these high cooldown abilities that I should give it to her. Wow, this is a... Okay, so that's a really experienced mid Morgana player. She knows, like, look at this. She knows that she only needs 4 in her W to get to melt these minion waves, so she starts maxing her Q second for damage. It's really smart. You can tell she's experienced. So, I gotta show you this. Okay, so I don't know Blitzcrank's here. We're scuffling over wards a bit. I'm trying to get these wards because Gangplank needs them if he's going to try and split. But I don't know Blitzcrank's here. I just happen to walk this way, and Morgana gets hooked and dies. When someone says, "You died for my sins," that is what they mean. No vision of this area, no vision on Blitzcrank. Like, if you don't see Blitzcrank, you have to play like he's over the wall hooking you, and he was over the wall hooking me, and I didn't play like it, and Morgana ate it for me. He manages to dodge the hook. He flash knocks up. This should be a kill on the Gangplank. He also slow them down. Oh my god, is he gonna get out? I think Blitzcrank could just chase him down and kill him. Is he gonna use his W? Yeah, his W. What's he gonna do? He's just dead. Oh my god, so sad. It's pretty funny. Alright. Sorry, Bags, but your death is hilarious. He's way behind right now. He's managed to like farm decently well. No one's really farming amazingly. It's like 17 minutes, and the highest one is 149. So it's not a huge CS game, but he's able to get to his Triforce and start picking up some gold. It's because of the... Yeah, also because of gold. He's actually only 300 behind Aurelia, even though she's got 2 kills. And he's got less CS just because of his Q. I think because we've been so good on the global gold, we've gotten 3 towers to their 0, whereas they've been getting dragon control. Like, look at that. We have all their autos down, which is actually lending itself to a lot of team gold. So I've got more than Shyvana, partially because I have more CS, and I have more kills. Yeah, more kills, more CS, obviously more gold. Mid lane, 10 more gold and a kill, or 10 more CS and a kill. So she's up only by 100. The big difference is here. Almost, it's like a 3,000 gold lead on Lucian. The 30 CS, the 5 kills to 1, and the 3 towers. And Blitzcrank actually having more gold because he has more kills, obviously, and he's been grabbing more CS with his ult. Like, when he comes up here to Gangplank and he ults, he like picks up minions and stuff. So he's actually up in gold. So we've got the jungler and the ED carry as being ahead, and they've got mid and top ahead, which is pretty bad for us because they have a split push threat that we can't deal with. So even if Lucian's big, we either send him to deal with Aurelia and then lose the team fight, or we keep him with us and unable to answer the split push. So we wind up keeping him with us and we lose the split push over this game. I'm contesting Shyvana here for this scuttle. This is a really bad idea. Like, I want this because Dragon's coming up, but honestly I should surrender this because, like, Tristan's close. We just saw her killing off this minion wave here, so we should know she's here. Orianna as well. She just clears off these minions, she's going this way. We should know all of them are here. I burn my escape to like catch up to Scuttle for some reason. I'm just tunneling on this. I'm gonna die for this, and it's gonna be really bad unless my team can follow up. So when she jumps over, I'm like, oh shit. So I actually ult back. I managed to get Scuttle on a return queue, but my E comes up in just not long enough. However, this huge Lucian onto this no tank Shyvana is able to just shred through because he's managed to pick up his Ghost Blade, meaning all these no armor targets are being crit like they're made of butter. He's just tearing through them because he basically does true damage because they have built no armor yet, so this flat armor pen just wrecks them. And even though this isn't a ton of crit chance, because of his double procs, he actually has way more crits than other people would experience on these items. So he's actually just tearing through these people. Dragon's up in 20 seconds. They're pushing these up. Sorry, my throat got dry. So they're pushing these up. Supports are diddling on the side, but with Dragon coming up in 8 seconds, he just he gets this lane pushing, so that's gonna slow push, and then comes this way to start Dragon. I'm going this way as well, so if they try and contest, I'm gonna be there soon. But honestly, they're just respawning. I don't think they're gonna make it in time, and he's more than well enough equipped to deal with this. If anything bad happens, he can just E over the wall. It's like a very safe thing to do. Also, Brahm's shadowing him, and we have wards here, here, and here, so they shouldn't be able to get to him and stop him. Gangplank pushes up. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Even though Shyvana's a level down, she should probably just kill these minions and pick up the level, to be honest. Yeah, or she just chases him this way into Orianna. There's no way he's getting out of this. What do they burn? Brutal Orianna on all, but that doesn't have that long of a cooldown. So even though we get some damage back on the Shyvana, it's not really that big of a deal. They pink this, get rid of our ward. They don't clear this out, it's going to time out soon. So they're establishing vision control over the side of the jungle, which is very good by them. We have some good wards here, but they have just so much presence topside because of Gangplank's weakness that's really hard for us. He's now 0-5. Aurelia isn't doing a great job snowballing her lead into high CS. She's like roaming with the team and eating Qs and not really being that split push threat that her team needs her to be. So this is one of the ways in which they're not playing to their win condition. But then Lucian goes super deep to kill Aurelia. She gets a good crit, but he dies quickly afterwards. And then hold up. Morgana QW flashes into this team, but she has no mana whatsoever. And she doesn't even have her ults on cooldown. So I don't know why she's flashing in, having just Q'd and W'd. It's a bit of a bug, so it's showing these things at weird times. But she has no mana, she can't do anything, and everything's on cooldown. Her flashing in there was a big mistake. She just has to walk out. She literally can only auto-attack. Simram, he dies to the pop. We have Gangplank TP in after the fight's over, and teams have disengaged. Means he burns his TP for nothing, putting even more weight on the potential split push from red side. I roll up. I don't know why I'm doing that. I just die for no reason. She barely gets enough mana back for a stun. Like, if I had procced that would have killed Blitzcrank, but I would have still let it anyway. And me for Blitz is not a good trade. He gets some good crits off, so I guess him holding this is good, but he would have been here anyway if he had just walked up. which is bad because now Aurelia can just split push somewhere and she has TP and Gangplank doesn't. You can only ult down, meaning she has absolute priority, but she just has not been split pushing at any part of the game so far, which I think is a huge like misplay strategy-wise from red side, because them developing that split push threat would have been really bad for us so far. We made the choice to keep Lucian with us knowing that we'd start into the split push, and they didn't even pick up on that and take the split push. Lucian's presence here even prevents Shyvana from, I think, just getting the scuttle. No, she still gets it. Never mind. And she walks it. Okay, whatever. But yeah, with Aurelia not contesting Gangplank in the split push in any real meaningful way, he can just pick this up, and then like, look, he's stacking his Silver Serpent so well. They're just doing support things over vision. Lucian can contest, like, look, he can contest Aurelia in the split push. She actually can't fight him because she only has Ninja Tabby, and against a Ghostblade Infinity Edge, I think it's going to be a Bloodthirster. She actually can't deal with that. While he just comes up here and gets farm. I think Shyvana's just going to roll up and kill him. I don't think there's anything he can do about this. It happened before. Yeah, I don't see a way getting, like, she smites a minion. That's a little rough. But she probably just gonna ult, just pick it up. Yep, there she goes. He's just dead. That's something, like, he's not worth much gold, so it doesn't really matter too much that she gets it, but she gets all these minions. The moral of the story is he still can't split push effectively. He's not at that point yet. He starts going for the Shiv. Bit of a fight here, chunked down, but no death. Just bodyguarding. So yeah, our lack of split push is a real problem. We're only ahead 1,000 gold, even though we're up all these kills. Okay, so I get us onto Blitzcrank, but she's way out of position. She's going to die to this pop, and we're not going to be able to, I think, answer up at all for it. Yep, pop, dead. That's the saddest way to die. Meanwhile, Shyvana is split pushing, and she's probably going to get this tower. I don't think there's a way to hold this unless Gangplank. Yep, there's Gangplank ult. What upgrades does he have? Is there a way to tell? None yet. When he gets those, it'll be big, but he's able to actually hold that tower, and now we're posturing here. We're posturing, though, without Morgana, so there's no real way for us to clear these minions. We saw the Morgana ult. Okay, I'll show how this happens. So, I'm going to slow this down a bit. So, we see this, she's trying to get on Lucian, it only goes into Braum. This does not necessarily mean, oh boy, it's time to team fight, but it means we certainly can posture like we can, because there's no way Oriana can get to him. And he misses the hook, which means this is even more safety for Lucian. So I roll up, knowing we can get some damage. We proc this onto Oriana, I think making her very vulnerable. He Ghost Blades, but then immediately gets Aurelia jumped on. Like, that's the weakness, I think, of his low range. So I'm just standing up here, I'm zoning these people as best as I can. Lucian is able to pick up Aurelia. I get these people really low, but I think I'm about to die. Yep, that's the auto, and this proc is going to kill me. But Lucian's strength enables him to pick up Blitzcrank, in addition to the Aurelia he picked up before. So it's 2-for-1 for us, which is good. But you just saw, even though she missed a critical ability, and we were... That's actually a 3v4 that we just fought and won. But we did that because we saw them with, like, their really good abilities, like the Oriana ult and the Blitzcrank Q. Lucian rolls up knowing that after Aurelia jumps on him, she can just kill him anyway. I zone off the rest of the people. Even though I die, we can pick up Blitzcrank off the back of that. I don't know if we can actually get this. Yeah, he prevents Shyvana from going in. Her ult's already down, so she actually can't get into this very well. She has no movement summoner. She just has Ignite, so we're able to pick up this tower. So it's now 4 towers to 1. We get some wards here. We get some vision of their unfinished blue. It's just, oh, it's so rough. Sorry, Oriana. Anyway, and Dragon's up in under a minute. That's probably going to be where the teams are looking. Shyvana picking up red. She's got her Bork and State of Devour. She's probably going to be looking to get her tank items now. He's looking for a Shiv. He's probably going to get that soon. Frozen Heart coming up soon on Aurelia. It's going to be pretty big, especially against Lucian. Lucian, huge. 11-2. 3 items done. A full item ahead of this Shoshana. Aurelia actually split pushing a little bit. She's probably going to get this tower. I forget if she does. But Gangplank, we all know that, everyone on the map knows the Dragon's going to be the next big thing. So I'm contesting vision up here. I'm trying to make sure we can see everything. Orianna started the scuttle, but then it eventually went this way and we were able to pick it up, which is actually pretty big. But then Blitzcrank hooks Tristana over the wall. So me and Gangplank roll up, trying to push them off so that she can get out. But then Tristana comes around the side and he has to flash out. And then Morgana has to flash out anyway. So probably should have just had her flash to begin with and not burn Gangplank's flash too. So they see these flashes go down and they start moving back to Dragon while these guys are moving up. Meaning that these guys can collapse down and try and catch our bot side. But with Braum's dash and the move speed on his E and his dash and flash, they're able to get out. Red team peels off, but Aurelia peels off late. I see this, I throw this down, knowing we can pick up the stun on Aurelia and actually get her out. Meanwhile, they started the Dragon, so we pick up Aurelia. Dragon and Gangplank are poking down these guys, in addition to Morgana over the wall, meaning now all of a sudden blue team can fight for this. We're a person up and they're low. So Gangplank ult zones them, we pick up Shyvana, then pick up the Dragon, even though my bad flash. We lose Gangplank, but because of the chase power that Lucian has, even though Orianna ults to try and slow us down, the Black Shield on Lucian allows him not to be slowed and able to pick this up. In any other game, the Orianna ult would have stopped us from following, but because of the Black Shield on Lucian and his chase potential on his E, we're able to pick that up, meaning we can now translate that fight into an inhibitor tower. I get hooked and I ult out immediately, but knowing my team wants to dive, I probably should have stayed in anyway, because Lucian just goes ham and kills all of these folks. If I had stayed in, that would have been better and we wouldn't have lost Braum. We pick up this tower and we're going for the inhib. And then Aurelia shows. She shows up, she comes up way too close. I should have been more aggressive with my stun and my abilities, because then Lucian goes in, she dashes, and even though she hasn't gotten more items yet, one, the RNG isn't with Lucian, but also she's now full health, meaning she can pick him up and we can no longer take the inhib. Morgana backed off, I think, early, but also she had no mana, so it's probably a good choice. We overstayed. We back out, and we only managed to get the tower, not the inhib. I see her go for this. I throw my Q over, I try and be sneaky, but I don't get anything. Huge wave here. We actually probably, we could have done something here as well, but we didn't, and as a result, Aurelia picks all this up. So I'm going to pause the game and take a look at some stuff. So even in kills, more or less, we're up in gold, I think only because of our tower lead. We have 3 towers up on them, and dragons are now equal, although we're not going for this as a win condition because it would take too long. We're just denying them their 5th dragon threat as best we can, but we're just looking for team fights or Baron or this inhib. So if anything happens that opens up any one of these objectives for us, that's where we're going. You can see I'm already here trying to get a vision of Scuttle, because I know that a fighter on Baron or a fighter on this inhib are going to be the things that we're looking for, or to get a tower. So probably what we're going to try and do is roll up to either of these and start doing it using our comp responsibly, forcing them to have to engage on us, either because we'd get the Baron or we'd get the inhib, because we don't really have much engage, but if they engage on us, it's great because we can layer all the CC and burst them and like chunk them down, knowing that they don't have super hard engage in the same way we do. So even though Aurelia is still a split push threat over Gangplank, she hasn't been doing that all that well, by the way. Aurelia had to have been a lot better at the split push. Same thing with Shyvana. But even though they still can split push, if we roll up on Baron and take it, even if they get a side tower, or even 2, we can just go to this inhib and take it. So even if we lose 2 towers, we open up their base, which I think is bigger for us than it is for them. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's just how I would rank the importance of those objectives, given the comps and given the state of the game. If they're to teamfight us, they have to kill Lucian. The second Lucian dies, our whole team is fucked. Everything is fucked. We have to use all of our CC to keep him alive. And as the game goes later and Tristana gets more range, the range disparity is going to be big, because she's now 8 and 5. She was really behind earlier, but she's no longer someone we can ignore. She has IE, she has Phantom Dancer, she has her Greaves, she has her Q, and she's getting close to her Bloodthirster. The second she gets that item, she's going to tear up Lucian. Also because he's gone for Last Whisper instead of like a Banshee's Veil. This hook onto Lucian after he burns his ult, Tristana should not have ulted there, but Braum manages to save Lucian. But now Lucian's on like 400 health. We have no real way of healing him short of his own lifesteal. And all of a sudden this is really bad, because they're all collapsing, they see him low, he has to back, and if he backs, we know we can't teamfight, and they know we can't teamfight. This is looking to be a very free tower for them. So all of us are here because we know how important this is. Alright, So some abilities thrown. I threw this out defensively just to be sure they can't engage, but they were already backing off. Something big is, I feel like, about to happen. Alright. Blitzing runs up and hooks Lucian. This is huge. He is dead instantly, even through the black shield. We burn Gangplank ults, we burn my stun, just to prevent all these guys from coming in here and wrecking. Morgana is just running for her life. Braum ult to try and save us. She has to Zonias because some damage wasn't coming, but honestly, that's not going to be enough to save her. I managed to pick up Tristana on the side, and I'm looking to try and pick off these low health targets. That's why I threw this out. I'm trying to just keep them low, but then Aurelia ults, or flashes, and manages to pick me up. There's nothing I can do here. That is a 3-for-1, which is huge for them. But what you'll see is, critically, Orianna did not ult during this whole thing, which is huge. We burned everything just to try and survive. And now that Gangplank's ult, even though he's behind, he's got Triforce and he's got Static Shiv. He's going to be able to clear out the minion wave, so they actually can't take this tower. The Q slows her, so she's on this, she doesn't auto it, and he's able to pick her up. That is huge, because now she's dead and has not ulted. Like I said before, we burned everything just to survive. She held back, and that's what allowed us to live and keep this tower. If she had ulted anyone, even like just a Braum, they would have been able to take this tower, because these guys, just one of these person, even if Gangplank's up and he's our remaining wave clear, if it's just him, this is a tower for them. As such, it's a 3-for-2, which is barely a one-team fight for them, but critically, they can't take anything off the back of it. He's just being annoying, he gets this stuff, so they win a team fight, but they can't capitalize. So now that we're back on the map, though, their power play is over. So that was a real moment for Red Team to get to really like get ahead. This game is still a close game, a real one. But you saw the second Lucian went down, we couldn't win. We just had to run. And I think me picking up Tristana was big because they couldn't take the tower. Like Tristana's tower taking skills is really big. But I died right after that, so I couldn't. So he gets cut out a little bit here, but he's tanky enough, and Lucian's close enough so that they feel like any flashes, so they feel like they have to back off. You see a Zeke's on Blitzcrank giving even more power to Tristana, and actually not one on Braum, even though Lucian's so ahead. So, questionable build path, perhaps. I would have liked to see a Zeke's on Braum, just knowing how ahead Wumple is. I'm going for a Banshee's Veil, because he already has Locket, and we only need 2, and that'll prevent me from getting hooked or anything. But yeah, I would have liked to see like a Banshee's Veil on Lucian instead of this Last Whisperer, because then that hook wouldn't have got him, and he'd be able to be alive doing damage. Although this is the build you go if you just want to kill people, because they really don't have enough armor yet. So, hold on. This is actually really bad for us, because they're here, rolling up on this inhib. I'm taking Scuttle, and they see me taking Scuttle. They even ping. They know I'm here, and they're like, this is our time, okay? So I'm going to slow this down so you can see just what happens here. So they see what's going on. She jumps, but Morgana cues the Shyvana right now. So she actually can't follow up. Gangplan's ult and Morgana ult. Like, Morgana's ult zoning all these people. Like, look at this. This is fucking gorgeous. All of their damage is here. So even though Aurelia recognizes that this is their fight and this is their dive, we've bought time for me to show up. Braum's gonna slap his Q on her and exhaust so she can't kill Lucian. See that? And all these guys, even though the stun only goes off on Blitzcrank, doesn't even matter. She did her job. They're all unable to follow up. Even though Morgana goes down, I think, we pick up Blitzcrank as well because she got the stun off on it. We're able to chase these guys off. We take this inhib. We know we can't end because Orianna and Tristana are up. They have more than enough wave clear, and we don't really have dive because our only catch is Morgana's Q, and she's down. So we actually can't end the game here. What we can do is come take this Baron. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to put wards behind us so we see them follow, and we're going to take it. And it's going to be a real power swing for us. A big wave here that, spoiler alert, Aurelia is going to get back up and TP2 and try and take it. Which I think Bags just flashes over because he's a goddamn man. Fucking American hero. Yeah, and we're going to take this. Which is exactly what we need to open this game up. Morgana happens to revive in time to get it. He TP's over and then backs because, once again, he's a fucking genius. But Aurelia uses her TP at the same time, so there's no real disparity created. She's going to get a lot of these minions, but Morgana is going to see her do this and come down, so she can't actually take this tower, which is huge. We see this wave here. We know someone's going to go up and pick that up. Orianna's already going to do that. So we decided that bot lane is going to be the one we push. So we have Morgana stay here to push this up, knowing she can clear very quickly, and knowing that Aurelia doesn't really have kill pressure on her because she can just black shield herself and then walk out. We give red to Lucian. We're starting to get wards in this area. I try and tell these guys to kill this so it doesn't get my Rafter buff. I'm like, bro, get it. I don't want to be seen by it when he walks by. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And so I lose my Raptor buff. Aurelia backs off a bit, but we're coming up this way to get wards in this area because this, like, having control of this area allows us to push this up safely. And so Aurelia's here. We don't know this. We actually have no idea she's here. We have no idea where Aurelia is at all. We assume she's with the team, and this is actually huge. Okay, why is this huge for Red's team right now? We have no idea where Aurelia is. We think she's up here with the team. Actually, she's coming up for a beautiful flank onto blue team. Because us four are bunched up here, and Morgana is here killing minions. She has no way of getting into this fight. This is a 4v5 with Aurelia coming up for a beautiful flank. Alright? So I'm going to slow this down. So what's happening here? These guys are diddling their front line. I see Shyvana up. I think Aurelia's here, so I'm like, oh, she is just taking free damage. This is fine. I'll do some damage. Aurelia's here. She kills off this barrel, so there's no way she can be crit. Shyvana goes in. They get a beautiful dive onto Lucian. She's now in perfect position to kill him off. However, she's... yeah, she dies perfectly. Did you guys see that? This right here, this was the Orianna ult. You see the thought process, right? You see Tristana jump in, your ult hits Lucian and kills him. And hits Braum as well for good measure. We're locketing to try and survive. But the Orianna ult going off here loses Red Team the game. They might not have won this game. Winning wasn't a guarantee. But the ult going off here guarantees them a loss of the game. Why? Because now Tristana is sitting here and can't get the Orianna proc. Because now we're with Morgana. Now we've got the Gangplank ults. Now they're about to be on top of the parallel convergence. They're about to be Morgana ulted. Aurelia goes down. Tristana goes down. I know they're going to pick this up, so I just make sure Blitzcrank can't do anything crazy. She Zhonya's with the pool. She's dead. Blitzcrank's dead. A heartbreaking final fight for Red Team. Heartbreaking. Because that should have been exactly what they needed. Yeah. And then Blue Team pushes up and wins the game. So what do we learn from this? We learned that recognize the strength of your comps, because if these guys had properly split push or gone a 1-3-1, there would have been literally nothing we could do to answer for that. And their team fight strategy wasn't bad either, but just that one misplay at the end there really sealed the deal. So I'm not hating on Orianna. Like, she played safely, she built well, she did all she could. But just the unfortunate ult timing on the Tristana jump was what sealed it for blue. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. Pay attention to your side lanes, and if you're on the side lanes, know how to transition that, because if you're a different top laner than Aurelia, if you're like a Scion or something, and you get ahead, then yeah, group with your team and use your body to win those team fights. If you're Aurelia, perhaps not. Perhaps split push knowing they can't answer, and then have the rest of your team just group in a lane and siege it, and then with the Tristana wave clear and tower killing, just siege it down that way. Like, we have to send 2 people to deal with Aurelia because Gangplank can't deal with her. So 2 people top, 3 mid. There's no way our 3-person can handle their siege. And if they 1-3-1, then also no one can 1v1 Shyvana. I certainly can't. So one of these side lanes is for sure going to take a tower. if we try and match 1-for-1. If we try and match 1-for-1, then Lucian's going to handle one of these two. The other one can't be handled, so that's probably going to take a tower eventually. And then the 3 people mid. Probably, for us, it'd be me in the jungle, Morgana mid, and Braum support. They're probably not going to be able to handle it either, because if Braum shields to prevent Tristana from taking the turret, he can be hooked up by Braum. And if Morgana's been using her soil on the wave, then she really can't contribute that well to a fight. And my response is going to be slow too, so they're probably going to be able to pick up Braum at least, and then back off, knowing they can keep sieging and eventually take the tower. Meanwhile, if Lucian is fighting Aurelia, then Shyvana's eventually going to kill Gangplank and take that tower too. So if they split up like that, even with the super fed Lucian, there would have been nothing we could do. But instead they chose to team fight, and because they failed to execute, they lost the game. Whereas if they had gone for the safer strategy of split pushing, even if they misplayed, they still probably would have gotten stuff off of it. Rather, they, like, hanging your hat on team fighting is risky because it presumes you win the fight. Whereas if you do the split push thing, there's no presumption there. You will see the benefits. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned stuff. Have a good one.